Today, I wanted to make an episode just for the dudes, for the brothers, for the dogs, whatever you want to call them. I wanted to make an episode for the men out there. Now, ladies, more than welcome to watch, but this episode specifically has all of the brothers in mind. So, stick around. Hey, welcome to Growing Up Kingdom. My name's Daniel, and I'm so happy that you're here. If you've been looking for a place where you feel like you can be encouraged, where you feel like you can grow in your confidence, this right here is an absolutely great place to do that, so make sure that you stick around. Today, I wanted to talk about wisdom for men who don't want to ruin their lives, which hopefully is every single one of us. No one wakes up in the morning and says, you know what, I'm just going to absolutely destroy my life today because I feel like it and sounds like fun. No, that's not how we do things. Most of us, we want a good life, and we want to do things the right way. So how do we do that? What's some wisdom that we can actually put into place there? I've got 7 things that I think every young man should know. And we're just going to go through them one by one. The first thing is that attraction is not neutral. Now, there's a lot of men who will try to tell you that it is, and there's nothing you can do about it. I've heard people say, I just go out every day and, it's just such a battle with lust. I'm just overcome with lust everywhere I look. And on one hand, I get it. On the other hand, if I'm being really, really honest, I don't. Because lust is, to a certain extent, controllable. And I know that's unpopular for some people to hear. Some people will tell you, you know what, there's nothing you can do about your emotions. There's nothing you can do about your feelings. You just got to ride it out. But no, Jesus was very clear that a man who looks at a woman with lust in his heart has already committed adultery. So that puts the weight on him. That puts the weight on him choosing to look and think about something. So I think we can all agree temptation doesn't start with actions necessarily, although it can. Sometimes it just starts with attention. Looking at something a little bit too long. Spending a little bit too much time thinking about something. And that's something we can control. That's something not a lot of people will tell us. You can control that. What you allow your eyes and your imagination to linger on, to sit on, and to think about, that quietly trains, what you're going to keep thinking about, what you're going to notice in the future. Proverbs 6, verse 25 says, "Do not desire her beauty in your heart, and do not let her capture you with her eyelashes." Now, that sounds like a very specific verse, right? But when I was thinking about it, when I read it the first time, I was thinking, the interesting thing here is the attention to detail. The attention on the eyelashes. This isn't just like a quick little look. This is like an intentional looking and intentional thinking. And we have a choice about that. We can choose not to linger our thoughts on certain things, right? That's our choice. Again, people won't always say that. They'll say, you do whatever you got to do and you can't control what you feel. To a certain extent, you can. The second thing to know is that impulse is the enemy of wisdom. A lot of regret in life comes from impulse. Doing something because it feels good in the moment, because it sounds like a good idea, because you don't have a lot of time and you're trying to figure something out. It comes from fast reactions, it comes from fast words, it comes from fast decisions, and that will get us in trouble sometimes. Because sometimes we're moving so fast trying to do things that we lose the wisdom of it. Wisdom slows a man down and makes him stop and makes him think just for a little bit before he goes and acts, and that's a really, really crucial thing for all of us to know. Proverbs 14, verse 29 says, "Whoever is slow to anger has great understanding." Whoever's slow to anger has great understanding. But he who has a hasty temper exalts folly. Meaning he's being foolish. He's encouraging foolishness. But a man who's slow to anger has great understanding. We can be slow to anger. As men, we are sometimes taught, you just need to be impulsive and you need to get things done. And, thinking about things too long makes you indecisive and it makes you weak. No, sometimes the best thing you can do is just sit on something for a little bit. Take some time to pray about an idea before taking a new job, before leaving a relationship, before getting into a new relationship, before adding new people to your friend circle, before removing people from your friend circle. That's stuff that requires wisdom. And not all of it can just be made so quickly. Another thing I think is really, really crucial to get is work is not optional for men. Now, work looks differently for every single person, right? One guy might go out and be an electrician. One guy might go out and be a lawyer. One guy might be a content creator like I am here. But every single man needs something he's working on and something he's putting his hands to do. Otherwise, you end up with a really passive man, with a very idle man. And I'm not going to tell you what sort of work to do, right? I know there are people who think I'm uncommitted, people who think I'm lazy, who think I don't have very much of a drive to get things done because I'm a content creator, right? At the same time, we're out here, we're reaching thousands of people. I think I was just reading some stats, like 25,000 people this month this channel's reached. And that is wild, right? On Spotify, on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, all over. We're making a difference here, right? That's not idle, that's not lazy, that is work that's being put in. So I'm not gonna tell you, you have to go be a carpenter. I'm not gonna tell you gotta go work in construction. I'm not gonna tell you you have to be a high-paid doctor. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying every single one of us, though, needs something we put our hands to, that we're dedicated to, and that we're committed to. Proverbs 13, verse 4 says, "The soul of the sluggard craves and gets nothing, while the soul of the diligent is richly supplied." And that stands out to me because there are so many men who crave things and they get nothing. Why? Because they're lazy. Why? Because they don't do anything. There's nothing they want to achieve in life. They're happy just to sit on the couch and play video games. And that's dangerous. If you don't have something you're consistently putting your hands to, something you're consistently doing, it's time to get up, get a job. We're scared of it. Get some sort of project. Start a podcast. Hey, do something. Just get off your backside and do something. One thing we really need to understand is that a man who can't provide is underdeveloped. A man who can't provide is underdeveloped. Providing isn't about wealth, it's about dependability. Now, obviously, when you're 16, 17, 18, 19, providing for a family, that's not necessarily your main priority at the time, right? Like, I'll be very honest. Providing for a family, that's not my concern right now because, hey, I'm not there yet, but I'm thinking about it. I am thinking about it because that will be something in the future. So it is important to start thinking about this stuff ahead of time before you just get thrown and like, oh, now I got to provide for family. Now I got to do different things. God ties maturity to responsibility. And that's why I was saying you need something to do. Faith that doesn't show up in real life, like in actually doing something, actually providing for something, it's not really fully formed. First Timothy says, "But if anyone does not provide for his relatives, especially for members of his household, he has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever." Let that sink in. The goal is you need to be able to provide for your household. Once you get a household, you need to be able to provide for it. Now, again, that doesn't apply to everyone right now, but it's something that we should all be thinking about in some form or fashion. The fifth thing is your friends are quietly deciding your future. And we all know it, but not a lot of us really put that much thought into it. Wisdom doesn't ask if your friends are fun. Let's be honest. We know a lot of fun people who aren't necessarily great for us. We know a lot of fun people who aren't really going to get far in life, if we're being honest. The question is, where are your friends leading you? A lot of us, we think, oh yeah, I can do this on my own, I'll be fine. But at the same time, you need community. If you've been feeling isolated, if you've been feeling like you don't really know what you're missing, maybe you're missing a good sense of community. Proverbs 13:20 says, "Whoever walks with the wise becomes wise, but the companion of fools will suffer harm." So, you're a companion of fools or you're walking with the wise. If you want to be wise, find yourself some wise people to be around. The sixth thing is, self-control is real strength. It is so common in this world, especially in this culture, for men to be the impulsive ones, to be the ones who don't care, the ones who just go out and they just do things and they deal with the consequences later. And I understand that's the way a lot of us grew up, that's the way a lot of us were taught, but self-control is essential. Sometimes we think self-control is weak. We get taught that self-control is feminine somehow, and men are just supposed to just not think and just do. No. Biblical strength isn't aggression. It's restraint. It's knowing the right thing to do and doing it, and not doing the things we know we shouldn't be doing. That's self-control. Proverbs 25, verse 28 says, "A man without self-control is like a city broken into and left without walls." Take away a city analogy for now. Just imagine a house. Broken into, left without walls. All four walls, nothing. That's what a man without self-control is like. Things come in, things come out. There's nothing to stop them. You're chasing every single little thing. No, you need self-control as a man. That's essential. The last thing, honor protects you when talent fails. This is a big one. So many of us, we grow up doing sports. We grow up in different environments where we're taught that your performance matters. How you play matters. How you operate matters. And that talent is what people tell you, you did a good job. For some of us, the only time we've ever heard a parent or someone we look up to tell us they're proud of us is when we do a good job. And so we're so focused on talent, becoming a better athlete, becoming a better musician, becoming a better student, getting better grades, getting higher scores, that we lose, then we're willing to do anything to get it. Let's put it that way. Talent opens doors, but character keeps you there. There's so many people in life who've had incredible talent, but their character didn't keep them there. Things came out, some huge scandal, something happened, they weren't who people thought they were, things fell apart, and we don't want to be that sort of person. The world's smiling at you saying, awesome job, the people in your circle are like, great, and then something comes out because your character was bright. That would be tragic, and I don't want that for any one of us. Honor shapes reputation long before you realize it matters. People judge you based on your talents, yes, but also on the reputation you have. And so building a great reputation is essential. Proverbs 22, verse 1 says, a good name is to be chosen rather than great riches. A good name is more important than great riches. And favor is better than silver or gold. You want people on your side. Now, especially as believers, right? I'm not expecting to have the whole world on my side. That's not the goal. But you need to have a good character, have a good reputation, so that people look at you as a man and say, you know what? That's a good man right there. I trust him. I know he doesn't have everything figured out, but I know he's trying to do the right thing. These were 7 things I think every young man needs to know. If you think I missed something, if you think I should have said something better, if you think there was something else that could have been added, let me know down in the comments. If you know another man who needs this, make sure you go ahead and share it with them. But yeah, I really hope you've gotten something out of this. If you have, make sure you go ahead and like, subscribe, follow, do whatever you can on the platform you're listening, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.